let's go see if there's a better one I can get. Should like mute my desktop audio for a second. One of these days I'll like get good at doing all this stream stuff. Okay. Now come hang out. One of these days I'll figure out how to like schedule a stream in advance. And turn the desktop audio back on now. So how are people doing today? We got a whole one viewer right now. Which might have just been me. He like going on our account to grab like a shareable link, cause the one that I get through YouTube Studio looks bad. Then, of course, I believe Atlas is not going to be here today because he's like busy doing his family stuff, and yep.
Why, hello.
Hello.
But I'm here.
Yeah, Atlas is not going to be here because he's doing his like family stuff, but we have you.
That's true.
Damn, what a downgrade.
I'm sorry. I can leave.
That's okay. How are you doing this week, Matt?
I'm doing all right. I've been trying to learn Melty Blood Actress Again current code. Which is an old game, so it means I can't rely on modern game buffers to do the work for me. I have to actually time things. It's horrible.
That does sound really bad. How unfortunate.
It's
Imagine playing video games.
Right? Why do I have to time shit? Why doesn't the game just time it for me? What the
I
hell?
know. Who wants to actually play video games? I just want to be mad at video games instead.
Yo? Play, I mean, there's League of Legends for that. You could play Valorant. You could play Overwatch if you really hate yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like League is already in that realm of, like, if you hate yourself, play it.
Sometimes. I'm always impressed by, like, I watch some League content on YouTube, and the people I watch, like, just never get tilted. They're just like, that's unfortunate.
Damn.
Or they're like, dang. Well, and then there's one guy who his team gets behind. He's like, perfect. Now I'm going to be the one to carry the game.
Aw, yeah.
I'm like,
gotta have that strategy.
How do they watch their support like desperate to get vision, walk into 4 people, and be like, well,
my time to shine.
I don't know why they did that. It's pretty funny.
So, I just tweeted out, but I think the plan for tonight is I'll just like vaguely yap about the anime. There's not that much to talk about this week. This week was mostly like flashbacks. And then we get to go over all the Tuesday news because there was a lot of it. And then I guess we can watch the like Love and Berry collab stare into our souls.
Every time somebody says that, I'm like, this isn't real.
Unfortunately it is. But I guess we'll get to that. I guess I'll just like start by yapping about the anime. Cause this week we have a flashback to where they were all secret childhood friends. It was like...
They all forgot?
Yeah, they all forgot about it. It was cute. I guess? Question mark.
It's like Love Hina, where it's like he has his childhood friend that he just cannot remember which one is which.
Yeah. Or it's like, oh, they all just went to like the same summer camp at the same time like the villain came into this world and they had this tragic accident. Also, I find it funny that like I think this might just be the default thumbnail for the stream, but it's just like a city skyline and like that just actually
Right?
kind of works for like our channel. I don't know if like that's from anything or not, or if that's just like the default thumbnail, but I like
I'm
it.
not. Yeah. Is there supposed to be something on screen at the moment?
No, my screen's black at the
Perfect.
moment. I'm not like I'm just
I
yapping
just
about the anime right now, so I don't really have anything.
yeah, no, no.
But yeah, so we like flash back to when they were all like secret childhood friends, all attending the same summer camp. Yeah, also like they can't stop building up Kuon for some reason. Like I feel like he's going to be like the out for the villain cuz the way the episode like the second half went, it feels like it's just setting up for Sybil to get defeated this season, which would feel very lame, right? Like it feels like we the conflict should be going longer. So, we had the flashback arc where like they were all secret childhood friends all hanging out at the same summer camp, and then like Hikari gets lured into the special ruins by Sybil where he tries to possess her. It doesn't work because like Now comes in alongside Akina to like save her. So out of all the characters, Now and Akina were super secret childhood friends, and then I guess they all forgot about it because magic or whatever. But it is kind of weird that, like, none of the other characters seem to remember being at the camp in general with all of their friends, and
A
that
little
Taizo was
suspicious.
the camp counselor too.
A little suspicious.
Yeah. I will say, Masanori just being, like, a guy living in the bushes makes sense. Like, that was his connection to the plot, is he was in the mountains foraging for, like, edible whole plants, and so he just like pops out of the bushes to be like, hey, there's some spooky magic on this mountain, and then like disappears back into the bushes. So that was funny.
Dear Lord.
But yeah, like the second half of the episode is like, all right, we have now explained this, and then like, I can believe Akina and Now kind of forgetting it because of weird Sybil magic, but like, it is weird that everyone else just kind of forgot that they were at this camp with each other and that they've always known each other for like the last 10 years or something. And, but going into the second half of the episode, it's like, okay, like, Sybil has like a hate boner for Akina because he's like really selfless. And I guess, like, there's this weird feeling of like, it feels like Now has just become like the center of this conflict now, where like because she helped to like rescue Hikari back during like 10 years ago, and then like Sybil takes her body out of spite, it does feel like suddenly she's become like super important and like at the center of this conflict. And I can kind of like see the threads of like Akina and Now where they've like been pretty good friends for each other. Like in the first season, like Akina decided to like drop everything to go and support her during the tournament, and throughout this season Now is like constantly checking in on him to make sure everything with Hikari is like going okay. So it feels like there is something there for that plot thread. I just feel like perhaps we could have spent an additional episode like reinforcing their relationship with each other, maybe setting up that like Now has been kind of this emotional pillar for Akina during like a difficult time while Hikari was like sort of mentally corrupted. But instead it just feels like it came a little bit too out of nowhere, that like the conflict suddenly centers around her and she was secretly like the most important person in their lives when they were kids because she like rescued Hikari and had the special card, and that she was also the one that like gave Akina his catchphrase about like miracles. Whereas it's like, maybe if we had like one more episode just to like their relationship was already established, but just like reinforce it, I feel like it would be fine. And then also just like it feels like the conflict is going a little bit too fast, right? Like they're already at the point where we have a new form of Reziel. The next episode preview is going to be like the descent of the destined king. So I assume we have like the fated king Reziel, so we're gonna get like a destined king Varga because Sybolt is currently possessing now, and like we probably have a secret Dragon Empire card. But then it just kind of feels like where does the conflict go from there, right? Like it doesn't feel like it would make a lot of sense for Akina to lose now because he just got like a shiny new version of the card. But also like if he does win, it does kind of feels like all right, well we've just completely like defanged the villain now. And I think there are some like outs for Sybil to lose this fight where like he still has the special card, so if the Destined King is actually Varga like we're all expecting, then there is still an out in the form of the actual like Sybolt card. You know, there's some lingering plot threads, like we haven't seen Gabuelius's unit form, so that's something that's to be revealed. Like they never actually properly defeated Kuon in a fight, so he could still be like mentally corrupted by Sybolt. Like that's another way that he could escape. But like it just kind of feels like thematically, you know, like Sybolt should be defeated here, and then what? Like I can't imagine Divine Z is just like over by set 5. Let's see. Like, yeah, like technically, Velar, like the grunts were the destined ones, but it also just kind of feels like Akina has never like fully hit like the depths of his despair when it comes to like the current conflict, right? There is like, you know, it seems like that moment was when he lost to Hikari, but it feels like we never really got to dwell on it very much. Like almost immediately, like future Hikari kind of comes in to like talk sense into the present Hikari, and at the end of that conflict, it really felt more like Hikari confronting herself, you know, figuratively and literally. So like thematically, it was more about Hikari's character growth more than like Akina's. And then, you know, Sybil tries to like corrupt him and he just like no sells it. So it does kind of feel like this particular arc of the story, we're just kind of rushing to the finish right away. I don't know. Maybe I could see like a proper Link Joker arc where he goes around like corrupting people the way people got reversed. I know that's technically what we got with the Destined ones, but I don't know. It just kind of feels like every week we could like stand up and fight each other, and the conflict was resolved very quickly because it's a 12-episode anime, so we can devote exactly one episode to each guy and then we move on. So we'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to seeing what the fated King Reziel ends up doing. I need that guy that has my deck box to give me my cards back. He hasn't shown up ever since the last time. So, you know. So I guess that's all my rambling about the anime for now. Let's go into the Root Beer News Network. I think that's what I'm gonna start calling this segment for now.
I just
Because
want to follow up that all the words you were saying during the anime, I'm like, I've heard some of those words before.
yeah, I kind of figured as soon as you stopped talking that like I'm just yapping right now.
Yeah, I was like, I'll let you go at it.
Yeah. Oh, for fuck's. Discord, can you be centered properly? Thank you. Okay. So, it is time for Root Beer News Network. I'm just gonna start calling all of my stream review segments this. It also gives me a convenient title if I ever stop being lazy and clip these out of the stream properly. So, this week, we got like more promos for premium. So they have the heal guys for Mega Colony and Spike Brothers this time. So they all have the same thing where they count as heal triggers when discarding for a G guard, and then the Mega Colony one, when it's placed on guard circle from the hand, you remove a heal trigger from hand or drop. Your opponent chooses any number of their rear guards and rests them. Jesus, if the number of rear guards rest by this effect is 2 or less, then it gets shield plus 20k, and if it's 1 or less, you can counterblast 1 and give your Vanguard 5k until the end of turn. That is pretty neat. Either your
These
opponent stuns their own units and like stops an attack, or you just get like 25k. And then, the extra 5 is permanent. And then the Spike Brothers one is like when it's put on guard circle. If you remove a heal trigger, choose 3 normal units without sentinels and with different grades from drop, put them to the bottom of the deck in any order. And then if you chose a grade 3 or greater cards, it gets shield. And then if you chose 3 cards, counterblast 1 and give your Vanguard 5k. Once
Yeah, that's not
again,
bad.
like, these are all pretty neat. Like, I like that they're printing, like, cool defensive cards. It is kind of a shame that this is, like, all we're doing for premium is just, like, retrains and random promos. Maybe
I like
over
the
the winter
conservative
we'll
one
have a
though.
proper premium set, you know?
I like the conservative one though.
Yeah.
That's not
Okay.
bad.
Yeah. Alright, next up, we have a bunch of new cards for Impaldio. So, I've like vaguely been interested in Impaldio. Like honestly, all of the Destined ones kind of had my attention. I was very much contemplating buying like a case of set 4, although that doesn't feel financially responsible. Also, these new reveals are starting to put me off wanting to play Impaldio. So we have Hypersonic Conversion Mock Fighter. It's a grade 3, continuous. During a battle, this unit attacks if you have 4 or more auto mod gauges. Your opponent's rear guards cannot move from rear guard circle to guard circle. Why?
Okay.
Why? I know it's a common, but why? But you guys just printed like a better version of this card in the last set. Next we have Roving Probe. So when it's chosen by the original act ability of your grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Impaldio in its name, choose one of your units and gets plus 10k until end of turn. This is from the drop zone, so it means like when you put it as a gauge using Impaldio's act ability, you can give something 10k. And then when it's chosen by the original auto ability of your system code Exceed, you can soul charge 1, energy charge 1. Okay, again, why? Like, these are both effects that are, like, on their own, fine, but in the context of Impaldio, it's like, yes, that's what the deck that already gains, like, a passive 5k for every 2 gauges needs, is 10k more power.
Yeah.
And then, the second ability, you don't use either of these resources, really. Like, the deck already has too much soul, at least from set 1. And you're already running Bulbul Mine because you need countercharging more than anything, so like that is already a source of soul, and then the only thing you ever energy blasted for was the cyclers.
Hmm.
And then finally we have Headway Router Dragon. So when this unit is placed on rearguard circle, if you have a gauge, you can energy blast 3, look at the top 5 cards, choose one card with a different name and grade less than or equal to your Vanguard, call it to rearguard circle. And then when it boosts, if you have 5 or more gauges, you can soul blast 1 and give it 5k. This is okay. Like, this is probably the best one of the 3 revealed cards. Like, it gives you a little bit of deck thinning, it gives you a little bit of extra advantage. Like, it's all fine. Like, these are all good abilities that it has printed on it. It just doesn't feel like what the deck actually wants. Like, it's so strange to me that they designed Impaldio to be like this interesting defensive deck with like kind of a cool gimmick, and then did not give him the tools that like a slower defensive deck would want. Like, either some sort of like removal ability so that he can kind of continue grinding the game out, similar to what Liel has, or like some form of inevitability. So the divine skill, Impaldio gets like 2 drives and an extra crit, and already has like a lot of passive power gain from like his own act ability. So like something like when it boosts, if you have 8 or more gauges, it can get like a sentinel restrict or a battle door, just something to be like, okay, the game is over now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the 5k seems like why.
Yeah.
It also is like a lot of auto mod, right?
Yeah.
For 5k, and you have to soul blast one.
Yeah,
There's
because
so
I
much going on there.
like the grade 2 from the previous one, I think got like 10. I think gains just 5k by existing, and then like if you have 5 or more gauges, it becomes 15k. I'll have to
Yeah,
double
I don't
check.
know why this one's like the second ability feels kind of thrown on here.
Of course it is. Well, it's a triple R, so of course they have to put power plus 5,000 on it.
You're so right.
Was it Nebula Invoke Dragon? Yes. So yeah, Nebula Invoke, like, you just on attack Soul Blast 1 and it gets 5k, and then if you have 5 or more gauges, it gets 15 instead of 5. But also has the ability that if you have 4 or more gauges, gets 15k shield. Like, that was part of Impaldio's sustainability, right? So yeah. It feels very strange, especially because, let me see. We have... Oh my god. Where is Sodium? Is she not on here? Okay, it was just last week, so I'm gonna scroll back up real quick. No, that was the other Liel. That was last week. No, it was before that we got Sodium. Here it is. It's weird that, like, we have a very similar style of deck in the form of Odium, where, like, okay, it has gauges, and then it also a deck that largely makes 3 attacks, except for the Divine Skill where you make 6, but has a very powerful piece of support in Anachronos Dragon, where, like, it can go from the gauge to the field by, like, swapping a card from the drop zone, so you can, like, put something from drop into your gauges and then call it to rearguard circle. And then the important things, like, on attack, if you have a grade 3 or greater Liel, then it gets 5k, and then if you have 3 or more gauges, it can just Energy Blast 2 to retire an opponent's rearguard. So, like, this feels like the kind of card Impaldio should have in its second wave, right? Like, okay, like, a little bit of power, like, a way to toolbox itself out of the gauge, so you have a little bit of extra advantage there, and also, like, the gauges actually do something instead of just kind of sitting there. And then, of course, like, a little bit of retire, so you can both deal with your opponent trying to rush you, but also in the long game, just kind of chip away at your opponent's resources if you're just gonna be, like, the slow defensive deck. But, whatever. Claudine for budget decks. No, I'm probably gonna do Lascaria. Like, I wanted to do Claudine, but I realized, like, I have not actually played the deck recently enough that I could feasibly build a Claudine deck. Also, some pieces of, like, order support are just randomly very expensive for no reason. So, Lascaria is a deck that, like, when I checked it last week, coming up into this stream, looked pretty cheap. Like, all the Villano named cards are cheap, and then I believe the Blitz orders you're playing are also cheap. So that one was, like, easier for me to do. So yeah, sorry about that. Although, yeah, Lascaria is getting supported next week, so who knows, maybe this price thing will age poorly. I sure hope not. In addition to the new reveals, we also got the reveal of DZBT6, so it's going to be another Craycross one. So we already have the new version of Rora, and hey yo, is that Chronos Command? So, if you haven't been keeping up with the Craycross lore, Chronos Command is actually a very important part of Rorora's story. I do like seeing this form of nostalgia where it's like, yeah, no, he's just like a guy in the background, so if you know who he is, then you know, and it's like a neat little thing to see him there. I do like all the people kind of memeing where, like, he's a stand, or he's, like, whispering in his ear, like, hey, Rorora, we're gonna have to kill this guy. Ah, damn. We're also finally getting the Fire Regalis as an actual card. So another, like, important piece of lore. If you read all of the, like, glitter descriptions, they were all, like, seeking the Fire Regalis, and, like, all the Regalis pieces, I think, were kind of based around this concept. So it'll be nice to actually, like, see this thing coming into the game from the lore now.
Finally, the One Piece.
Right. And then, you know, we're getting Dear Days 2, which means we're getting new versions of Graham Grace and Favrenil. Yay! Atlas and I can cope together on this. I mean, these cards look really cool. I really like the art for them. Like, the original Graham Grace felt like a card that, like, should have been good, but, like, just never quite had the pieces it needed. Because, like, the double Persona ride does give you, like, pretty good numbers. You can make a 4th attack. Like, the support works out in a way that you get extra drive checks too. It feels like it has all of the decks to be, like, kinda cool, but then, like, just never actually made a splash. And then Favre Neal was always gimmicky. Like, I thought the gimmick is cool. like foregoing Persona Ride in favor of just being like a big ass restander that like has an extra crit. Although Counterblast 2 is kind of expensive for that, so here's hoping these cards end up being neat. And I just dropped something on the floor. And now, I guess we have to talk about the Love and Berry collab.
Do we?
I mean, the people who have tested it after the initial reveals have already said that this deck is like very powerful. And from like the little bit I've seen, apparently it can just like passively thin the deck, gain a bunch of power, and make like a lot of attacks. So, yeah, let's go.
Why do all the cards look like this?
I guess it was like some sort of 3D game. And you know Bushiroad, like they can't be bothered to make new art for things, so they're just like taking all of the like game assets and screenshotting them onto cards.
They sure are.
Oh boy. Alright, so the starter, and then... Okay, so it was wrote by a grade 1 fashionable woman with the word love in its name, and that if that unit was put into play from the ride deck, you gain the crest of the arcade cabinet and energy charge 3. So wait, this one can just energy charge, like, without going second? Damn. Fashionable magic, so apparently you're just putting a bunch of things into the deck that, like, have no abilities. Interesting. I don't know what's going on with this collab. I didn't actually, like, read any of these cards when they came out, but then everyone started saying they were good, so on the off chance we actually get these in English, I guess I ought to pay attention just in case.
The arcade cabinet. That can't be right.
Yeah. Well, arcade cabinet crest. I guess this is an arcade game, kind of like Mushi King. I really do not know anything about this collab. They reach deep for this one.
It is an arcade game, dear lord.
Yeah. So you cannot ride cards other than Fashionable Witch. When this crest is put during your ride phase, or when your Vanguard is placed during your ride phase, you can choose a Fashionable Magic from your drop and put it into your order zone. And just a reminder, it seems like the Fashionable Magics just kind of exist. Like, they don't actually have any abilities, they're just cards you have to play in the deck. And then, act once per turn, you can Energy Blast 3 and perform one of the following. Look at the top 7 cards of your deck, choose any number of Fashionable Magic cards with different grades, put them in your order zone, and then shuffle. Or choose a card from your damage zone, put it into drop, put the top card of your deck into the damage zone face down. And then, if you put something that is a Fashionable Magic, you can put that card into the order zone. And at the start of your battle phase, Soul Blast 2, choose up to 2 Fashionable Witch cards with different name from each other from your drop, and for each of them, perform if your order has 2 or more different favorable magic cards that are mentioned on that card. Call that card to rearguard circle.
Oh my god. So you have to, like, throw the clothes over there and then, like, put them in play based on what they're wearing?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so this one has the street coat outfit. So hair is smooth and long, tight fit t-shirts, and pastel love sneakers. So if your Vanguard is a fashionable witch with love in its name, gets all of the following effects according to the number of fashionable magic with this unit written on it, and different names. So 1 or more, when it boosts, you can choose a card from drop, put it into your soul. During your turn, it gets 5k power, and then 3 or more. At the end of the battle, it boosted. If you did not countercharge 1. Disco Love, so funky afro, retro pleats, and shiny planet. If your Vanguard is a fashionable witch with love, this unit gets all of the following according to the magic. So 1, when it attacks, if you look at the top card of your deck, put it on top or bottom. 2 or more gets 5k. 3 or more cannot be chosen by your opponent's card abilities and gets 5k shield. I'm going to stop reading out of the outfit names. So they all kind of have the same thing based on the fashion magic. So 1 ability is placed on Vanguard or Rearguard Circle. Counterblast 1, look at top 3, call one of them, place the rest on bottom of your deck. During your turn, it gets 5k power, 3 or more. When it attacks, Soul Blast 1, retire an opponent's Rearguard. Let's see. And then probably the boss unit. So your Vanguard is Fashionable Witch with Love, it gets all the following. One or more continuous on the Vanguard circle, it gets Drive +1. Two or more, this unit gets 5k power, including during your opponent's turn. So it's just an 18k with triple drive if you get the correct outfit. And then at the start of battle, or at the end of the battle, if you attack Counterblast 1, stand all of your front row rear guards, and then if your opponent's grade 3 or greater, it just gets 10k.
Yeah, this looks great. Moving on.
Yeah. And then,
well, I can see why people said it's quite strong.
Yeah, so we have Berry now. The other one was Love. So Berry, when it boosts, you can choose a card from draw, put into your soul, 5k, and then I think they're all just the same. So this one is like on attack, draw a card, gets 5k, and then when it attacks a grade 3 or greater unit, Soul Blast 1 gets power plus 10,000. And then
draw a card plus 5,000.
Yeah.
Soul Blast 1, this unit gets plus 10, sure.
So this one is like, it gets 5k shield, 5k power, and then when it attacks Soul Blast 1 until end of battle, it's a battle door.
Sure.
And then, okay, the grade 3 Berry, that's the boss unit. At the end of battle, this unit attacked, Counterblast 1, choose up to one Fashionable Witch with Berry from Soul in its different card name, write it as Stand, and then at the end of the turn, rewrite this. Two or more, it gets 5k, active on both turns, and then three or more, at the beginning of the battle phase, all of your front row gets 5,000. So this one is like a restanding Vanguard. If you ride into the grade 2, then the second attack will have a battle door, just randomly. So yeah, like these all look very strong in and of themselves. It's just that like, you're going to be playing a bunch of like cards that do actually nothing so that you can like dress up your cards all pretty.
But if you have a way to like grab a ton of these cards that don't do anything, it's actually quite good. Like,
Yeah,
quite valuable, right?
Yeah,
Because
and
like if they're like, oh, these cards don't do anything, here's 4 of them out of your deck. That's like a big deal.
Yeah, and then they also have a set order, Fashion Magic. So act in the order zone, Counterblast 1, bind this card. Search your deck or drop for a Fashionable Witch, reveal it, put it into your hand, then search your deck or drop from one Fashion Magic card that matches the revealed card and put it into your order zone. Okay, so now you just have a way to like easily filter out whatever outfit you need.
This card's crazy, actually.
Yeah, so according to people testing, like this deck is just insane, right? Like you just have like either a restanding Vanguard that restands with a battle door, or the deck that like makes 5 attacks and just gets plus 10k and just like passively filters the deck a shitload.
This card's insane.
Yeah. So yeah, this is just
anyone
weird.
Would play search for a card of your archetype, and this search is for 2.
Yep. So yeah, like people were testing it against like Varga a whole bunch and won every game. I saw someone posting testing against Shoujo Doji where it won. Obviously these are like isolated things, but like at the moment it does feel like we have another like OP collab deck. Woo!
Not that we're getting this one.
Probably not. Like it's this weird obscure MMO that like no one has ever heard of, and we just have the like nightmare fuel CGI staring into your soul. And then, next week, the Sweet X Sweet Trio get, like, another order to themselves, and a couple of generic triple Rs, one from Stoicheia and one from Dark States. Oh, also, just, like, the funny-ass Korokoro collabs. These are funny. So, save everyone from Ursa Largest, Chrono the Rewinder. When attacks a Vanguard, Counterblast 1, choose a rearguard, put it into your soul. Choose one card with a different grade from that card. The card put as cost, call it to rearguard circle, and this unit gets triple drive.
Okay.
Like, this is just like these are just like funny promo cards, but it is funny that these are just like better than the cards that they're like based on.
Almost certainly not Villar.
Yeah. And then Triumph Dragon User Grandpa. This is like the funniest card ever. All of your grade 3 units get Intercept and 5k shield. And then act, you can Counterblast 1, discard 1, choose a grade 3 from drop, call it to rearguard circle. If you call Triumph Dragon, it gets triple drive. And then at the end of the battle that this unit attacks, choose one Triumph Dragon on cost, say, I said stand up. Stand that unit, and it gets power plus 10,000 until end of turn. And then it actually just has reminder text on it that, like, when you are saying this for the cost, Say it to the chosen unit, and please try not to cause trouble for the people around you.
So
Like,
don't yell a lot. Got
yeah.
it.
But this is just like so funny. Like the concept of this card is just you yell at Triumph Dragon so that it'll restand itself. And you have to like specifically say it to the Triumph Dragon that you're restanding. Like this is cute. I like these. Even if we don't get these exact arts, I hope they find a way to like get these abilities to us just with like different art if they have to. I just want to be able to like point at a Triumph Dragon and be like, stand up, and then, reach over and restand it.
You can't say that. You say, I said stand up. I
Yeah.
would rule shark you on that.
Well, yeah, of course you would. You have to.
True. It's like, no, you did not resolve the effect properly.
Okily dokily. So
Judge,
that was
you did not pay costs.
so that was like all of the new cards that I think were worth talking about. Was there anything like more interesting in the like commons and rares? I do think we had like an interesting cycle of cards. I guess we have the like bountiful bloom cards. So the grade 3 is like when it's placed on rearguard circle, you can have +1. Look at top 7 for 2 bountiful bloom cards, call them to field. And then if you chose 1 or less cards, call up to 1 plant token. And then when it's stood by a card's ability, you can Soul Blast 1, choose one of your other rearguards with the same archetype name in the same column and stand it. So it just becomes like a full column restand. And then the grade 1s, like if you have another bountiful bloom, you can retire plant token, give it 10k. So, if you restand it, it's like a 31k column alongside the grade 3. That's pretty cool. And the grade 2 is like when it's placed on rearguard circle, if you have another bountiful bloom, you can just call a plant token. Like these are all like pretty neat. It kind of reminds me of like the Dark States one, like the Kurhal realm or whatever, where it's just like a cool little engine that you can play. Like off the dome, it feels like the cards that work best with this are either Leonorn because she does just restand stuff, or like Granfia can restand stuff, and then because you're stacking all of your plant tokens onto the Noblesse token as plant gauges, you can just kind of draw from that for all of your costs. So that's kind of neat. And, I do like these kind of cute little common cards like this. And
The wings are off-putting.
oh, yeah, it's a raccoon that's also just a bee. Yeah, they're all just like bug animals. I guess the bug fuckers are real happy right now. They're getting a lot of bugs recently. But yeah, that is probably going to be it for all of the root beer news. Let's see if I am not too lazy to clip this out into its own videos. So back to what we were doing last week, which is the budget deck building. Let's just go to... Nope, that's not the right tab. That's my live stream. I love it when this fucking thing doesn't want to work properly. There we go. Why is it so big? One of these days, I promise I will figure out my stream settings. There we go. All right, we're back.
Then they update it and everything changes again, and you have to refigure it out.
Yep. Okay, so we did Dragon Empire, we did Dark States, we did Keter Sanctuary. Let's go to Brantgate next. So, for Brantgate, like, I thought about doing, like, Archite because Monster is not, like, super duper expensive. Okay, Monster and Cardfight Vanguard. So yeah, like, the grade 1's only $2. We'll ignore the Eva Monster for a little bit. Did the Perfect Guard ever come back? Nope, the Perfect Guard never came back. Bowl of Mine went back to being like $15 after disappearing randomly, but that's still too expensive for our purposes. And then, where's the new Archite? Okay, the promo went up since the last time I looked at it. Oh, now there are like 2 versions of it, I forgot. So the Festival Booster version went up, but the promo one is still like $5. But yeah, like, Arcite is almost cheap, except for like Bulbul Mine disappearing and like the monster PG is also gone. But also from experience, after doing this the last time, if you have like more than one card that's worth $5, then suddenly that brings you like way too close to being like too expensive for this purpose. So instead, we're gonna do Avant-Garde. Not that one. There we go. Because if we look at Blue Deathster, yeah, for a second I was thrown off because of the FFR, but if you look at Blue Deathster, basically none of the cards are expensive, right? Like Richter is $2, the original Avant-Garde says $7, but if you look at the actual like market price, oh, no, it went up randomly for no reason. It's $7 now. Well, we can still make this work because $7 is not that bad. If you have one $7 card, the price is still manageable. But yeah. But yeah, like all the in-archetype cards are mostly like, what's it called? Like cheap, except for Avant-Garde, who's suddenly $7 when it was like $3 the last time I looked at this. That is the great thing about doing these budget deck building streams, is cards will suddenly become expensive for no reason. And so, the reason I stuck on Avant-Garde is because the deck doesn't really have to use cyclers. Like, we have a couple of people from Argentina playing this deck. So, like, they're playing cyclers still, but, like, you don't have to have them. Like, the cards in Archetype work well enough. I believe the promo, I don't want to try and pronounce that. But I believe the promo, since the triple drive booster, has, like, gone down. How do I spell this? D'Argente. Yeah, so after the triple drive booster, this card is like literal pennies now. So, so yeah, I believe like Avant-Garde is the deck that we can probably just like figure out. You know, it's not that hard to work around like the cycle cards that are probably too expensive. You know, if we go back to like before set 2 came out, we have there was like a generic double R. Let's see if Japan has had any, like, recent ones that I can draw from. They're a little bit ahead of us, time-wise. Man, I can't remember where I saw it now. But also, I believe, like, this Dragon Tree Wretch is not that expensive, so, like, we can make it work. Blue Deathster. Let's go back to global. Thank you, Argentinians, for just randomly giving me a couple of lists I can work with. But yeah, it's mostly just like Richter, who's pennies. Like, this is cheap. We can replace this with like the grade 2 double R that randomly searches. So let's go. So yeah, we're running 4 Richters. We're probably still running like 4 of the grade 1s, right? Yep. Da-da-da-da. Da-da-da. What does this one even do? If you have a Vanguard with all Vanguard, it gets 5k, and then if you have a strategy order, it gets another 5. Probably don't actually have to be playing that if I don't want to. Strategy. For review. Let's see. We're only running 1 of the grade 1, right? Yeah. 2 of you. I think my list may have run 3 of the grade 2 order, but 2 is fine. So it was a grade 2 that, like, searched out set orders. Yeah. And we're getting new cards in set 4 for Avant-Garde. That's probably not going to be that expensive, but the thing is, like, we don't have those yet, so just from the timing of how this is working out, we're not going to be able to put that in for now. What was this one? Shorts. If your opponent's rear guard was about... That is not what I'm looking for. Definitely not Combine Rusher. There you are. This guide, Solid Sturmer. I'm pretty sure this card is not expensive in the slightest. Yeah, this card's $1. It is not expensive in the slightest. So, not you. We're just gonna run 4 of this right now. So this one's like, when your sort order is placed from hand into the order zone, it gets 5k, and then you can look at the top 5, choose an order from among the cards you looked at, reveal it, put it into your hand. So this is just kind of like a cheap way to like get additional orders out of your deck. And it's like an okay beater, so this is something we can just sort of like run. Also, I wonder if Enlightened Age Dragon is cheap. Okay, this card is 50 cents. We can definitely run, like, Enlightened Age Dragon. We'll put, like, 2 of these for now. And I think that's actually just the 30 cards. So, yeah, we can just, like, run these and then just find, like, the triggers and PGs that are cheap. With Avant-Garde being the only card that is more than $5, I think this can get in under 100 easily. Let's just price it out really quickly. I don't... Ugh. Fuck. We have to, like, go for a $9 copy of that. That's so lame. Why is this card suddenly so expensive for no reason, man? Hanada halfway. Oh. Fine. I'm just gonna start, like, approximately pricing everything out. I don't even care about trying to get 4 copies of it in a cart if they're not cheap enough. Do. Kill Shroud. Literally any copy. Where are the other strategies orders? Dusting. We'll just put 2 of these. And then Death Winds. We'll put 2 of these. How many cards is that? 23. What am I missing? It was Solid Sturmer. I don't know if I should bother, like, pricing out triggers and everything. Because, like, you can probably just, like, bum those off of people at your locals. And also, like, in general, like, you buy triggers once and then you don't have to deal with it anymore. So I feel like it could help save time going through all of this to just be like, okay, you know, let's just skip all of the cards that you're gonna be, like, that you have to play to, like, play Vanguard. So yeah, this all comes out to like $78 total, and then, you know, you can just kind of figure out, like, all of the triggers and stuff. God. You can tell I'm just kind of putting less and less effort as I go into these, right? Ugh.
I
But
don't
yeah.
blame you.
But yeah, like, I think Avant-Garde should be cheap. It is kind of unfortunate that, like, Avant-Garde himself suddenly went up to $7 from, like, 3 the last time I checked, but 1 is at least still, like, doable. Okay, next up. Let's go with Veleno. I think my headphones died because I haven't charged them yet. Alright, are you still there, Matt? Is my headset on? It is not. Okay, I'm pretty sure you guys can still hear me because I'm talking into my actual microphone, but I do need you to
Hello?
talk back at me so I can make sure my headset is on again.
I think you're muted.
Alright, I guess I'm just gonna, like, mute the audio and just, like, play something random on YouTube. Okay, my headset is not on. Okay. Can you try talking again to see if my
I
headset
can hear you
actually...
now.
Okay. Okay, my headset is on. Oh, that's right. Discord uses my headset.
Yes.
Okay, so the stream could hear me the whole time because I'm talking into my other microphone for
Oh,
YouTube.
my fault.
But like, my headset died all of a sudden, so I couldn't hear you, and you probably couldn't hear me because Discord is using my headset.
Right.
Okay,
Sorry, I
so
had the stream muted so I don't double hear you.
yeah, no, that's fair. I just checked out Mume's stream really quickly to make sure I could like hear things, and I could not. But yeah. Next up, we're gonna do Veleno for the Stoicheia budget deck because, as you can see, all of the Veleno names are like pretty cheap, and I'm pretty sure all of the set or all of the Blitz orders people actually play are like not super expensive. And Lascaria is actually like a decent rogue deck, right? It has like some tops, and you know, the great thing about being on stream is I can just tell what my verbal tics are. I always end sentences with right or saying like between a bunch of words, which a lot of people do, but you know. So yeah, I don't think any of the orders are like super expensive. I should make sure Lascaria's built-in Blitz order is not expensive for some fucking reason. No, it's not, thank God. So, I'm pretty sure we can actually copy this entire deck list, like card for card, and it will actually come in under budget, because Bracing Angel Ladder is like $9 now. Oh, right, empty card. Clear card. So yeah, this is not expensive. Let me go and make sure. Yeah, Sweet Honey Garden is like 10 cents now. You don't even play the cards that search it, so if though like Hallucinatory Morpho was like $20 for some stupid reason, you don't actually need it. Right? And this is from like a topping deck list too, so they're probably all going to look pretty similar to each other. This one where like gains power based on the different names of orders could be something you can tech in. That one's a little bit expensive because of Zorga, but it's still only like $2. So yeah, let me check how much Bracing Angel Ladder is really quickly. Yeah, that reprint did wonders for it. It's like 10-ish. So if you wanted to skip Bracing Angel Ladder because it is technically over my $10 limit that I put on myself for this, like, I wouldn't blame you, but it's not like too terribly difficult to get a hold of anymore either, which is nice. I wonder if it's worth playing Twin Cast in this deck because it is so Blitz order based. Okay, so let's just actually do Lascaria real quick. I think this one I will put more effort into just because the deck building for this one is so brain dead easy. Alright. Veleno. Alright, cool. 4 of you, 4 of you, 4 of the other Flower Girl, the Flower Girl. Obviously, we're playing the grade 3 that restands itself. The other Flower Girl. And then, I'll just say that the 4th restander, like, replaces the Bracing Angel Ladder, because I don't feel like making people pay for Bracing Angel Ladder, even though it's cheap now. Oh, fuck, what was the name of that order? Normal order. Critical. There you are. Nectar of Sensationalism, that's what it is. And then Blitz orders. I wonder if it's worth trying out this one. The one that's like, Counterblast 1 of the units that's attack gets plus 10k, and then it gets the red text. When your opponent's front row rear guard stands, or your opponent places on a front row rear guard circle, it gets plus 5k. I wonder if that's like worth trying out, because This current meta is so multi-attack heavy, man. 1, 2. I'm not gonna make people pay for Sanctitude. Is Twin Cast on here? Maybe we'll put a Twin Cast. Has Twin Cast gone up? Protection Twin Cast. Not really, no. Interesting. I didn't put Persona Rides into the deck again.
You fool.
Da-da-da. Okay, I have to take a card out now. Maybe we'll just cut a Sensationalism. What does this card do? Stand this. I don't know, I feel like you want to have like 4 of the Restander, right? Like, maybe we'll just cut a Sensationalism. Okay, so that's 30 cards, and I don't even know if I have to actually, like, price these out. I will, just for the sake of the content. But, this card is... Everything here is, like, dirt cheap. It probably comes in under $50, the same way that, like, Direful's did. You haven't put you in the cart yet. 4... 4... Effervescent Shadow Blade. Let's put 4. We need Sweet Honey Garden. I literally just need the 1. What else do I need? Nectar of Sensationalism. We'll just put 1. Twin Cast. You know, we'll put the 1 there. Yeah. I appreciate that Twin Cast is only $5 for being, like, a decently powerful support card. And then what else am I missing? Probably one of the Veleno names. Oh, we don't have the grade 2 yet. You. 4 of that. So yeah, the core of the Veleno deck without like triggers and PGs is $38. It'll probably go to around 50 once you factor in like triggers and everything. As far as which trigger to use, I believe Bless Favor is like cheap now. Yeah, it's like $2. You know, I forgot to check how much was the Brantgate OT, which I don't remember the name of, unfortunately. Let's just go back to VG Paradox real quick. Is there a Brantgate deck here right now? Yes. Cool. What the heck was the name of the Brantgate OT? There it is. Eldo Breath. I'll just check how much Eldo Breath is really quickly. Nothing. Cool. So, yeah. Veleno is like $38 for the core of the deck. You know, Bless Favor pushes up to like 40, and then all the triggers and stuff will probably average out to like $10-ish. I think that puts it well above the $100 threshold. You can literally just copy like a topping list from VG Paradox, and it will probably do well enough for you. I think this one here is perfectly fine. Just replace the Bracing Angel Ladder with something like Twin Cast or something. And then finally, we are going to do the Lyrical deck. So Lyrical is one that is like sort of difficult just because there are a ton of like random generic cards. There is the like Flammy archetype, except that one does randomly use what's her name? Franquette. You can build the deck without it, but I'm too lazy to try and think of the deck without Franquette, so instead, I'm gonna try and make Sharmo happen. We're gonna see how that works out. Because Sharmo herself is $5, and I think her grade 1 triple R is also $5. But other than these two, everything else should be relatively cheap, so like similar to Varga and Minerva, I believe this will be a deck that like just reaches around $100. I needed to be back on VG Paradox. Sharmo. So yeah, Sharmo is like still topping, so I have to go all the way back to I think like May before the lyrical set came out. And this deck I can kind of figure out how to work around like Franquette and stuff. That is the tough thing about lyrical, is like lyrical plays so heavily with like all of these generic cards. So yeah, this is a list I think I can use as a base, and then I'll just figure out a way around like the cycler. Okay, so Sharmo, let's go. Fair Sores. So 3 Sharmo, 4 of you, 4 of you, 4 of you, 3 of these, 3 of these. I think I probably should put the ride deck in so that the game doesn't give me the option to play more copies of the names than I should be allowed. Okay. So that's all of those. Let's look at some of these other cards. So at the end of battle, boosted, put into soul charge 1. Or is that soul charge 2? Soul charge 2. Bleh. Don't need that. What's this one? Vanguard with Laverasaurus, you may soul charge 1. Don't need that. I know you need like Resius. There you go. Boy, I hope Resius hasn't become like $20 again. They've printed her like 15 times already, so... Okay, thank God, she's like $1. Ugh. I was really concerned for a second that this card will randomly be like super expensive for no reason, because she has shot up in price
any moment.
Yeah, like she has shot up in price randomly before. It's super annoying. Okay, so I need like 5 more cards to fill out space. Okay, so the problem is like you don't play orders in this deck. Which order was this one again? Is this the one that's... Lyrical had the boost order. That's annoying. Because, like, the boost order doesn't do anything. I know Yuika is not affordable. There's, like, no way in hell Yuika is not $15. Yep. Also, this deck, like, doesn't need Yuika. Man, that is actually, like, super annoying that, like, yeah, I just kind of have, like, space for 4 more cards, and like none of the things you would typically put in that space are affordable. You know, what normal orders does this deck have? Is there anything you can use to like increase the power of your Vanguard? Like call and response is not a bad one. Aesthetic shot doesn't work with the deck. This one doesn't work. Draw 2 card. Nah. What does Sweet do? Top 5 cards, choose a unit card from among them. Like, honestly, a lot of the generic searching orders, I think, are fine. Just that, like, man, that's so annoying that, like, I can't easily think of a way to, like, replace this one slot.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like, okay, I have like 5 more cards I need to fill. Normal order. What about this one? I forget. How much does this deck counterblast? Like a counterblast for the act ability, and then I think like Colby counterblasts. Vanguard power. I'm just trying to see if there's like any other card that can like give your Vanguard additional power. What about this one? All of your rear guards. That doesn't work with the way Sharmo wants to play. That's so irritating. Like a... I know you're not cheap. Ugh. Man, this is what I hate about Lyrical specifically, is like there's so many just like random ass cards that like don't quite do what you want them to. Ugh. Yeah, mixed wave. Like, Lyrical is weird. It's a nation that's, like, pretty all over the place. And, like, the recent waves of support have focused in a little bit more on, like, bouncing stuff to hand, which is what I always liked about Lyrical. But, yeah, Lyrical is, like, all over the place, like, playstyle-wise. Honestly, like, if you look hard enough, you probably can find a Lyrical deck that, like, fits, just because I'm pretty sure they have a Lyrical deck for every playstyle at this point, but, you know, we'll see what they get in set 5. Yeah, set 5 is in such a weird place where it feels like they've already revealed a ton of cards for it, but I know they haven't because the only thing we actually got was, like, we got Sodium, and then we got the new Impaldio cards, and we haven't actually seen, like, anything else in the set yet. Like, we know we're gonna have some sort of Destined King that's probably Varga, and we know about Fated King Reziel because of the anime, but there's still, like, a ton of unknowns in the set. Okay, how expensive is Eileen? Why is this card $8? Man, I fucking love Lyrical Monasterio. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. We'll try to figure out what orders we can play. Don't some of these already rest them? These cards already rest themselves. I suppose you can rest, like, Resius with call and response. I don't know what that accomplishes, though, because you don't need to build a board with Leversors. You already... Okay, fine. We can do, like, one of these. Okay, so if I play, like, if I choose 2 of those, and then just play, like, this... No, because why would I play... God, I hate trying to figure out, like, how I'm supposed to fill space without cyclers. Alright, I guess we are just gonna play some of the random, like, Leverosaurus cards that nobody plays. What's this one? When it's retired from rear or guard circle, you can, like... Nah. And then a Battle of Boost if you have put this unit into Soul, and Soul Charge 2. Like, that's not great either. fuck me. And then for the last card, I will just put Twin Cast into every budget deck. Man, like, Twin Cast is so... This card is so great, man. Like, yeah, just like, it's a 10k shield, and then, like, in the drop zone, you can use it to guard again, and because it's $5, it just kind of works in every budget deck. Like, let's go. Is there really, like, nothing else that can give the Vanguard power? Like, surely. You know what? I will just play this generic card. It does cost a Counterblast, which the deck kind of uses, but... Actually, oh no, because you have the option to, like, Energy Blast to just give that unit 10k. Yeah, that's fine. We'll play that instead. Okay, let's price out all of the Leverosaurs. So, Charmo is unfortunately a little bit expensive, but not, like, super expensive. And I think, like, this deck is close enough to the meta that, like, it's worth investing in. It does get better with, like, the new wave of support in the upcoming Lyrical set, as you can see from the fact that the tops it's getting in Japan are fairly recent. Let us go back. So yeah, if you're looking at, like, Japanese lists right now, it's still topping in, like, July and August, which means it is at least still, like, rogue tier in current format, which I think is pretty good for a deck that's, like, pretty old and, like, doesn't get a whole lot of support because it only comes in, like, the lyrical decks. Let's see. What was I looking at? And then for the Overtrigger, we probably are just playing Valnot, actually. I'm pretty sure Valnot is not actually that expensive right now. Why did this card go up? Or was this always $7?
It's all you.
No, I think Valnot was always $7. I was just looking at the wrong cards. Oh, damn it. I have to clear my cart. I forgot to clear the cart before I put everything into my thing, so now I have to, like, do it again.
You fool.
Yeah. Yeah, like, reprints of effect triggers and Valshablan are definitely things, like, Lyrical needs. Also, if they just decide to print Yuika, like, 15 more times, I would never complain about that. Let's see. This doesn't matter. Which seller has, like, 4 copies of this 20-cent card? I already put... Okay, so we need, like, 4 of these. Okay, so we had all of those. Where's the grade 1 for Leverosaurs? That's the grade 2. Where's the grade 1? I'm trying my best not to manipulate the market. I just want people to actually be able to play this game. You know? Let's see.
Not allowed.
Alright, fine. This is 27 cents and I already have it in my cart. What else am I missing? Reseus. Whichever copy of Reseus is the cheapest. I think it's this one. Let's see. Oh, of course, this person has, like, 100 of them for, like, $2. Okay. Okay, it's only 56 right now. It's still cheaper than the other one. Let's see. What else am I missing from my list? Oh, right. This random ass card that I'm just, like, shoving in here because I needed to fill space. Let's go. 20-cent promo ass card. Valnot. Thank God there's a version of Valnot that's only $7. Okay, so with all of that, is that a 6 or an 8? My eyes are terrible. This is only $64 for the core of the deck, so throwing in like PGs and triggers, it should only come out to around $80. And like I said, Sharmo is getting tops in like current meta, so like I think it is a worthwhile investment if you're willing to pay a little bit more for a lyrical deck out of all of them. Oh, right, and Twincast. So I think with Twincast it goes up to like 70, and then you just have to think about like triggers and PGs, which are cheap enough that you can find them in like people's common boxes. Like once again, when it comes to that kind of stuff, I'm sure you can just negotiate your way into getting what you need. So yeah, the core of the Leversaur's deck is around like $70 compared to everything else. And once you price it all out, it'll probably come out to like 80. So I think that's good. Like I think like $80 for an almost meta deck is actually like a pretty good investment into the game. So that is going to be all of the budget archetypes that we're showing off this time around. I wanted to try and do more. Like I was thinking about like Gondiva, but then the new Eugene like caused people to buy out one of the new promos for Gondiva, so like that one is a little bit more expensive now, although Gondiva himself is only like $1, and all of the core cards outside of the new promo are like oh my god, people started buying out Durgam 2 because of Eugene. Right? Like this card was $1 last week and now it's like 6. Come on, man, it's Eugene. Why are you people doing this? But yeah, like if you wanted to, I didn't show it off in any of my streams, but like Gondiva is a decently cheap one. I forgot what else I was looking at for Dark States now. Keter Undercover was cheap for a little bit, but if you didn't buy it literally week 1, it is expensive now. For Brantgate, I wanted to try doing Prison, but well, Aurora Battle Princess. Like, I was looking at Prison because, like, a lot of the Aurora Battle Princess cards are kind of cheap, except for, like, you have this one that's $7, Quarter Citrus is 5. I'm pretty sure, like, Seraph Pure Light is still, like, moderately expensive as well. Penetrate Aquas is like $8, although it is kind of a toss-up how many copies of Penetrate people even bother playing anymore. But yeah. Just from my experience of having built up all of the other decks, it does kind of feel like a Prison deck is going to end up being more expensive than you would want it to be. I know the promo that lets you re-ride is also kind of cheap now, but if I remember correctly, Seraph Pure Light is still like $7. Yeah, so I think, unfortunately, if you actually try to put Prison together, it will end up a little bit more than $100. If you have like a higher budget than that, like I think Prison is a not terrible deck to invest into, because now Security Upgrader is like 20 cents thanks to the Festival Booster reprint. But I think for the purposes of this stream, it will end up being a little bit more expensive than I want it to be. And then the other lyrical deck that I was thinking of is like Flam, the Flamage deck. Oh, fuck's sake. Oh, it's spelled FLMME. Thanks, Bushiroad. But yeah, the Flam and Glam archetype is all like pennies for the archetype itself. It's just that like the deck randomly does have to play Franquette, or at least like Franquette is a nice piece to have in this deck, so if you didn't want to invest $80 into Sharmo, Flam and Glam is like playable, and all of the actual in-archetype cards are pennies. I was just too lazy personally to try and like build a deck without, what's her name? Franquette in it. Franquette is another one of those cards that like probably needs to be reprinted immediately, just because it started off like moderately cheap at like $10-11 and then has gone back up to being around 15, which just seems like the price of lyrical staples right now. So yeah, I think that's going to be it for this stream. We are approaching 8:30, and we have managed to get through all of the nations. Anything you wanted to say, Matt?
No, it's pretty cool. It's crazy how these cards just get randomly expensive, even though they're like, who's playing them?
Right.
It's just
Yeah.
like, all right.
Yeah, I know. Like, trying to do research for all of these, like, budget decks was annoying, because I would, like, look at an archetype that I feel like should be really cheap, and it's like, oh, this deck just has a random $15 staple in it, because of course it does. And then I guess just, like, the way math works out, where it's like, yeah, if you have more than, like, two cards that are $5, the deck will easily end up going over 100, which puts it out of the range that I set for myself. So, like, that's also just another annoying thing. But we managed to get, like, 6 moderately cheap archetypes that all should be, like, decently playable. That was the other thing I wanted to do, was just, like, you should feel competent with it. You shouldn't feel like you're digging at the bottom of the barrel to play something no one has ever heard of. Like, man, I don't even know what deck I would choose for this. Like, I don't know, like, actually, no, I do know the example I'll use for it. Granfia in Stoicheia. Not to say that the deck is, like, horrible, but, like, when was the last time anybody actually thought about this card, you know? I never see anyone playing it at my locals. I don't see anyone talking about it online. So it's just like, alright, I don't want you to be, like, digging into the bottom of the barrel for something like this that no one's ever heard of. Like, I want you to at least play something that feels, like, competent, that, like, if you took it to a BCS, you have a reasonable chance of going at least, like, X3. So, yeah, I think that is going to be it for this stream. Thank you for watching, everybody. We'll see y'all next time with, I'm not entirely sure what. I think, like, yapping about the anime and doing, like, news about all of the new cards will probably be a regular segment on these streams. I don't know if next week we'll have an actual topic to talk about once Atlas is back, or if I'm just gonna start my Summon Knights playthrough, which I said I was going to do last time we started doing streams. But for now, I'm gonna see y'all later. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Alrighty. That was good.